Hi, and welcome. I'm the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Gaver, Presbyterian minister of 3 congregations in Eastern Ontario, and thank you for joining this week's Puzzles in Faith. This week's question is, was Jesus born December 25th? Or maybe we need to expand it a bit. When was Jesus born and how do we know? The answer is a little harder than you might think, but one thing we're pretty sure about: Jesus probably was not born December 25th. Okay, so what's the problem? The Bible doesn't tell us when exactly Jesus was born. We don't have any record of his being born. And it's not surprising. I mean, you might think today everyone gets recorded in a book. You were born on such a day. But that wasn't the case back then. And Jesus certainly was not an important person. You stop and think, his father is a carpenter. He's from some hick town in the Galilee. Who cares? All you want to know is how many people are in that family, so you know how much tax they have to pay. There was no reason for anyone to document his birth. We do have 2 accounts in the Bible, though. One from Matthew, one from Luke. But they don't agree. Actually, they go in 2 very different directions, leading to 2 very different time frames. Oh, that makes it hard. Okay, according to Matthew, Jesus is born during the time of Herod, and we assume that means Herod the Great. Now, Herod the Great died, we think, around 4 BC. Now, Herod the Great was a great king, and if we're not even sure when he died, why would we pay any attention to the son of a carpenter? Well, if Herod died around 4 BC, then Jesus would be born before then, maybe 5, 6, maybe earlier. Matthew talks about a massacre of children in Bethlehem. There's no historical evidence of it. But that doesn't mean much again, because considering Herod's character, he was very paranoid. He would kill anyone he thought was a threat to his power. He killed his wife, he killed some of his children. In fact, there's a record that Caesar Augustus said it would be safer to be Herod's pig than Herod's son. After all, Jews don't eat pork. They don't eat pigs. Herod's son, ouch. So Herod had that reputation of attacking anyone he saw as a threat. If he saw Jesus as a threat, Jesus is from Bethlehem, kill the kids in Bethlehem. And again, Bethlehem's not an important city. No record would have been kept. Matthew talks about a star. And so we have astronomers for centuries trying to figure out what this star was. And probably the best explanation would be it was the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. What all that kind of evidence points to is Jesus being born sometime between 6 BC and 4 BC. Now, Luke takes us in a whole different direction. And he seems to be giving us facts. Caesar Augustus is Caesar, okay? Well, Caesar ruled from 27 BC to 14 AD, so that's fine. Quirinius was governor. Quirinius did not become governor of Syria until 6 AD, so like 10 years after Herod had died. And in fact, it was after the Romans had deposed Herod's successor that Quirinius became governor. So you can't have it both ways. And what about the census? Well, there was nothing in a Roman census that would require anyone to go from where they lived back to their homeland. After all, you want to know where they live so you can collect the taxes. So the best way we can deal with that is there may have been a census of some kind that Herod instigated, or that some of the religious leaders in the temple instigated. We don't have a record of that. Luke tells us that there were shepherds in the nearby field keeping their sheep at night. And then, I'm not a shepherd, but people are saying, wait a second, you wouldn't do that in the wintertime. You would keep your flocks out in the spring. So that would suggest Jesus being born in the spring. At the same time, other sheep are, there's debates about how bad the winter was and what kind of sheep and whether they would, we don't know. It's simple just to say, we do not know. So where does December 25th come from? The first Christians did not celebrate Christmas. The core message of Christianity is Jesus was crucified, died, buried, and on the third day he rose again. He was resurrected. That's the core message. So the first Christians, they didn't celebrate his birthday. Wasn't important. A couple hundred years later, now they want to know more about Jesus and they want to know when he was born. And somewhere along the line, and for some reason, they decided on January 6th. And so that's around 200 AD. The church decided January 6th was the day Jesus was born. But the Western church, the church based out of Rome, didn't accept that date. It isn't until about 350 AD, sort of the middle of the 4th century, that they decided, the Western church decided Jesus was born December 25th. The Orthodox churches today celebrate Christmas January 6th. They never accepted the decision of the Western church. And the Western church celebrates December 25th as his birthday, and January 6th is the day when the Magi or the wise men arrived. So we try to get both dates. But why December 25th? We don't know. But there are some theories, and there's a few theories. Under the old calendar, so the Julian calendar, we follow the Gregorian calendar. But under the Julian calendar, winter solstice was on December 25th. We know that many religions have special festivities around the winter solstice, all having to do with light, the light shining in the dark. And that's one of the main themes in the Gospel of John. So the winter solstice is the shortest night of the year, and every day after that is the sun is coming stronger and stronger. So one of the titles for the winter solstice was the nativity of the sun, or the birth of the sun, S-U-N. And this ritual that was extremely popular in Syria and Egypt also involved a virgin. So there's a sense that the early church, 4th century church, Western church, sort of co-opted that day to say, look, you're going to be celebrating winter solstice anyway, and then 12 days later, the birth of Jesus. Let's not have you celebrate a pagan holiday. Let's say that Jesus was born December 25th. So you can still celebrate it, but it's going to be Jesus's birthday. So that's probably one of the better theories. Another theory is in the Roman Empire, there was a struggle, which God would be more popular. And you had the Christians following Jesus, but you also had people following Mithras, who was the Persian god of the rising sun. Guess what? Mithras' birthday was December 25th. So in some ways, by the Western church picking December 25th, they're Christianizing winter solstice, and they're saying, my God's better than your God. Jesus is stronger than Mithra. So that's how we ended up with December 25th. But the fact is, we really don't know when Jesus was born. But we do know he did live, die, and came back to life for us. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And once again, I'm the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Gaver, and thank you for joining us. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.